Once again, brothers and sisters, this is your host, the Apostle Reuben, with another short Bible lesson. Now, let's get some understanding here. I'm going to start reading right now. 2 Corinthians 3 and 6. Who also hath made us able ministers of the New Testament, the New Covenant, not of the letter. Now, remember, the Christians say the letter is the 10 Commandments plus the sacrifice. I'm going to show you that's a lie. Let's keep reading. But of the Spirit, for the letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. So, we're taking a look at the Spirit now. Spirit. I want to read you one more verse, brothers and sisters, because we're about reading. The book of Philippians 3 and 4. Though I might also have confidence in the flesh, if any other man thinketh he hath, whereof he must trust in the flesh, I more. Now, he's going to show you or tell you what the flesh is. Either way. Flesh. Circumcised the 8th day of the stock of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, and Hebrew of the Hebrews, as touching the law of Pharisee. That's the flesh. Sacrifice. That's the flesh now. But let's go back. I wanted to read you that. Watch this. Let's go up to verse 3. For we are the circumcision, the Pharisee, which worship God in the Spirit. Ooh. So there were Jews who were of the Pharisee worshiping God in the Spirit. But once again, we keep seeing the word Spirit. How do you worship God in the Spirit? What was the Spirit? Now let's find out. Let's go back. The book of Romans, chapter 7, verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin. Brothers and sisters, the law is spiritual. So if you're worshiping God by the Spirit, it's according to the law. Now, spiritual now. The law is spiritual. Let's do. 1 Corinthians 10 and 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant, how that all our fathers were under the cloud, and all passed through the sea. So Paul is writing to the Jews in Rome. Not all, brothers and sisters, the only ones that passed through the clouds and through the sea was Israel. And the children of Israel are Israel. But watch this now. And were all baptized unto Moses in a cloud and in the sea, and did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did all drink the same spiritual drink. For they drank of that spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was Christ. Christ was walking with the children of Israel, his people, back then. But what was the spiritual meat and the spiritual drink they received in the time of Moses? The 10 Commandments, because they were the spiritual laws. Spiritual. But wait a minute now. Let's cross on over. I want to go to 1 Corinthians 14, verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, if any of you think of yourselves as spiritual, watch Paul, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord. If you claim to be spiritual, you better know the law. But these Christians, they don't know the law. They don't even know what the Spirit is. They think the Spirit is some magic. Ooh, no. Oh, now, wait a minute. I want to read this. Let's read this. Let's go to John 6. I wasn't planning on going here. John 6, verse 63. Look at all these verses in the Bible, brothers and sisters, Christians look over, just to try to prove their physical point. The hell with your point. Read. The people want to see you read, not talk. John 6:63. It is the Spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profiteth nothing. The words I speak unto you, they are spirit. So the words were spirit. What spiritual words was Christ speaking? The law. Man, I tell you, brothers and sisters, you got to put it together. You get all these people on TikTok on these lives questioning their own selves. What about this? What about that? Can't put together a doctrine to save their life. It's all a game. It's self-glory. They're not reading the scriptures. They're not. Let's go back. I want to go to Nehemiah chapter 9, verse 19. Yet in thy manifold mercies forsook them not in the wilderness. The pillar of the cloud departed not from them by day, to lead them in the way, neither the pillar of fire by night, to show them light, and the way wherein they should go. Thou gavest also thy good spirit to instruct them. What good spirit did God give Israel to instruct them? The law. Spirit. The Spirit been since the wilderness. It's not new. If you're worshiping God in the Spirit, you're worshiping God by law. There's no other way to do it. We're reading it. Law. Nehemiah 9 and 20. Thou gavest also thy good spirit to instruct them, and withheldest not the manna from their mouth, and gavest them water for their thirst. See, God gave the Spirit back in the wilderness, bro. It's not new. It's old. We keep playing this game. The book of Isaiah 63. The book of Isaiah 63. Verse 9. In all their affliction he was afflicted, and the angel of his presence saved them. Christ. In his love and in his pity he redeemed them, and he bare them, and carried them all the days of old. But they rebelled and vexed his Holy Spirit. Who rebelled and vexed God's Holy Spirit? Come on, you Christians. The Spirit was back when Moses was given the law. The Spirit of God is in the law. You can't separate the Spirit from the law. That is you guys' mission, but it won't work because you can't read like this. You won't. But they, Israel, rebelled and vexed his Holy Spirit. Because God gave the Holy Spirit in the time of Israel, back in the wilderness after coming after Egypt. Like Paul said in 1 Corinthians 10. Come on now. Therefore, he was turned to be their enemy, and he fought against them. See, these nations know that if the true children of Israel are not keeping the law, their God will not redeem them. So Christianity is the answer and a bunch of confusion. Let's go to Malachi. Malachi 2, verse 4. And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith the Lord of hosts. My covenant was with him of life and peace, and I gave them to him for the fear which wherewith he feared me, and was afraid before my name. Also the covenant that God gave to Levi was of life and peace, which was the law. See, the commandments were a covenant of life and peace. There is no life, there is no peace without the law. But the book of Romans, let's get it. Book of Romans. I got a little time. The book of Romans chapter 8. The book of Romans chapter 8, verse 5. For they that are after the flesh do mind the things of the flesh, but they that are after the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death, but to be spiritually minded is life and peace. What is the covenant of life and peace? The law. There's no other life and peace, Christians. You won't find it. I've researched it. Life and peace comes from the law, and that is what it means to be spiritually minded. You guys keep trying to separate the Spirit from the law. You can't do it. The law was spiritual, and it was given to the children of Israel only. And you Gentiles that are picking up this Bible, reading it, you're going to find out. Because we're going to make you put it down. Point blank.